You ever felt an emptiness in a crowded room? That strange silence when no one truly hears you, even if you speak? That's not just an emotional phase. That's loneliness, and according to modern psychology and neuroscience, it's more dangerous than we ever imagined. You can have 1,000 followers and still feel invisible. What's most shocking is how the brain interprets this emotional state. Unlike smoking or obesity, you won't always see the symptoms from the outside. People who are suffering from chronic loneliness might appear cheerful, busy, or even popular. But on the inside, they may be fighting a constant feeling of disconnection, shame, and emotional numbness. That's why understanding the psychology behind loneliness is so important. It starts with something as simple as eye contact, a smile, or a conversation with someone who makes you feel seen. It also involves practicing self-compassion, understanding that loneliness doesn't make you weak or broken. It makes you human. Healing begins when we stop blaming ourselves and start acknowledging the truth. Our need for connection isn't a flaw, it's our strength. It's not just about fixing social habits, it's about addressing a survival instinct that's been hijacked by modern life. Millions of people feel the same aching void, even if they never talk about it. The danger lies in silence, in shame, and in staying hidden. But healing begins when you take the brave step of reaching out, even if it's awkward, even if it feels scary. Your mind, your body, and your future health depend on the quality of your connections. Not the number of followers or texts, but the people you can truly be yourself around. The ones who see you, and stay. Studies using fMRI scans show that the brain reacts to loneliness the same way it reacts to physical danger. And that starts with one simple thing: showing up, for others, and for yourself. From birth, we are dependent on others, not just for survival, but for emotional regulation. Babies who are touched and held thrive. There's a stigma attached. Admitting you feel lonely can feel like admitting you're unlovable or socially broken. So, many stay silent, hiding behind smiles, productivity, or distractions. But suppressing those feelings only makes the pain worse. And unfortunately, the more it festers, the more deeply it embeds itself in your mind as a belief, the belief that you're unwanted, unworthy, or forgotten. And this belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, influencing your behavior and reinforcing isolation even further. Those who aren't, suffer both physically and mentally. This need doesn't disappear with age. The truth is, when you're deeply lonely, your brain starts misinterpreting social signals. Friendly gestures might feel suspicious. Neutral comments might sound like criticism. Loneliness clouds your perception of reality. It's not just about needing people, it's about retraining your mind to feel safe enough to connect again. That's why healing from chronic loneliness isn't just about making friends or joining clubs. It's about emotional risk, about vulnerability, about learning to open up again, to trust again, and to allow yourself to be seen without shame. As adults, meaningful connection regulates our stress, boosts our mood, and gives our lives a sense of purpose. When that connection is missing, the brain treats it as a serious threat. The amygdala, the part of the brain that processes fear, becomes more reactive. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for logical thinking and decision-making, starts to work less efficiently. Over time, this imbalance can even lead to depression, anxiety, and a distorted self-image. When you feel socially isolated, your brain triggers the fight-or-flight system, releasing stress hormones like cortisol. This heightened stress response may have helped our ancestors survive in the wild, where isolation could mean death. But in today's modern life, when this stress becomes chronic, it starts to damage your health, silently and severely. In fact, researchers say that chronic loneliness is as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Yes, you heard that right. Loneliness isn't just a mood, it's a biological threat, one that attacks both your mind and body quietly, consistently, and devastatingly. And in today's world, where we're more connected than ever before, through screens, likes, texts, and status updates, genuine human connection has ironically become one of the rarest things. So let's talk about the psychology of loneliness. Why it's so destructive. Why your brain registers it like physical pain. And why ignoring it can slowly tear apart your mental and physical well-being. Loneliness isn't simply being alone, it's the feeling of being emotionally or socially disconnected, even if people surround you. Over time, loneliness increases inflammation in the body, weakens the immune system, and raises the risk of heart disease, stroke, and even Alzheimer's disease. It messes with your sleep, your digestion, and your cognitive functioning. But that's not all, it also rewires your thinking patterns. People who feel chronically lonely tend to develop what's called hypervigilance for social threat. This means they start to perceive the world through a more negative lens, expecting rejection or betrayal, even where none exists. So ironically, the lonelier someone feels, the harder it becomes for them to trust others, form new relationships, or reach out for support, creating a cycle that becomes harder to break the longer it continues. What makes loneliness even more dangerous is how invisible it is. The human brain is wired for connection. Here's another psychological twist. People who suffer from loneliness often don't talk about it. Now, you might wonder, if loneliness is so harmful, why don't we just reach out more often? Psychologists suggest that small consistent acts of connection can help rewire the lonely brain. So if you're watching this and silently struggling with loneliness, know this: you are not alone in your loneliness. Loneliness may be as dangerous as smoking, but the cure isn't complicated. It's connection. Honest, human, imperfect connection.